Right, and then S, there's my S. Right here, right after runway length, it says 35S. Soft field, not paved. This worked out pretty good. I'm a genius.
Get your own horn then.
I'm pretty much the smartest guy I know.
Don't edit that out. Leave that in.
Come on, somebody. Have you guys ever seen?
But you are in your element.
Have you ever seen Count of Monte Cristo? Yeah, that was pretty much the best knife fighter I've ever seen. Maybe you should get out more. That's what you guys are supposed to respond.
Maybe you should
get
get
out more. You're right, I probably should. All right. Bravo airspace right here. B. It's red. It's the opposite of a VFR chart because it's blue on a VFR chart. Whatever. Bravo airspace. It'll tell me right here, Los Angeles, Class B, upper limit, 10,000. It tells me the upper limits. Why? Because they are not all 10,000. And I hate why, I don't know why all the books say that.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Like Salt Lake is 10.
Salt Lake is 10. They're looking at hopefully upping it to 12. Denver is 12. Vegas is only 9. So,
Speed limits. Bravo doesn't have speed limits.
there you go. Charlie airspace is blue. It's this little light blue outlines that you can kind of barely see. It says Charlie. I can then find the airport, Santa Ana. I have 2 upper limits on this one because I have shelves. Okay, so upper limits of Bravo and Charlie will be listed with the airport that it's associated with. March Air Force Base, upper limit 55. Delta airspace is a dotted line around it with a D. Because I could have a dotted line with a E. Echo to the surface. So this is Delta. What's the asterisk on the Delta?
Part-time.
Part-time hours. Where do I find those part-time hours?
Back of the chart.
Thank you. Back of the chart. So on my chart, part-time airspace hours, right there. It's going to tell me what hours of operation. Yes, I could find them in an AFD also. Okay. Delta airspace.
95 lower limits.
Lower limits of. Oh, Bravo. Sorry. Come back here. Lower limits are published within each quadrant, right there. 20 is the lower limit. The lines below it, that means that's the lower limit. The upper limit has a line above it, meaning upper limit. Okay. Yep. Now you will see some. I don't think this chart has one on it. If it's too crowded, what they'll do is just kind of like they did here with the upper limits. They'll have a ball note 1 and 2. Is they'll do a ball note and they'll have ball note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to list the lower limits because there's not enough room.
The asterisk on Santa Ana next to the C, does that mean it's part-time?
Part-time Charlie.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. Here's back up here. We have our towered airport. It's Victorville, California. What's the Victorville tower frequency? What kind of a chart's this?
Enroute.
Do I need a tower frequency for Enroute? Ah, so it's not published. It is published. It's actually right here. It's on the back side of my chart. This little black section. It gives me all the frequencies. But this chart is an Enroute chart. Where are my approach or where are my tower frequencies published? On the approach plates. Because that's when I need to talk to tower. So everything's categorized according to what you should be doing when you're using that chart. So IFR flying is all about using the correct chart for the correct part of the flight. Really, an IFR pilot is nothing more than a chart follower. That's exactly what we do. We follow one chart to the next chart to the next. So that's what keeps us safe, though. Okay? All right here. It's kind of hard to see. Yikes, there's too many shadows on this thing because of the picture. Okay, you can kind of see it right here. See how there's a little triangle here? This is gray, this is white out here. The gray airspace is golf airspace from the surface up to 14.5. Okay, golf naturally exists from 0 to 14.5 unless otherwise depicted. The white area is otherwise depicted. There we go, that's a good one. See how, look, I got a gray triangle in the middle here, and then I got white, white, white. What does the white area surround?
Airways.
Airways. Airways are protected at echo starting at what altitude? 1200. So white area is echo at 1200 AGL. And it goes all the way up to 18,000.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
So the white area,
Hey, I shut it off.
the white area is echo,
Okay.
starting at 1200 feet. Just like on your VFR charts, this is the blue shaded area that's around all the Victor Airways. So on a VFR chart, same thing. It's just white on here. You can see that it surrounds all the airways. So the purpose of 1200 foot echo is to protect Victor Airways. Okay, look down here, I've got echo to the surface. Purpose of surface echo is to protect the airport. 700 foot echo is not depicted on these charts. The purpose of 700 foot echo is to protect the approach. Okay? So every blue airport that you see has 700 foot echo above it. So as soon as you see a blue airport, you know it's got 700. The dimensions of it, you would have to go to a VFR chart to find those. The only reason I would need to know the limits of 700 foot echo is if I was trying to depart VFR, and if I'm departing VFR, what chart do I need to look at? A VFR chart. So you got to remember that. I cannot use these if I'm VFR. Can I fly the airways and whatever? Sure. But this chart is not legal if I'm flying VFR. It's only legal IFR. So make sure you're using the appropriate chart for what you're doing. If you go on a VFR cross country where you're simulating IFR with a student, guess what? You got to have both charts with you because you're VFR on your flight.
What is the 700 feet protect?
700 foot echo protects the approaches. Okay? Echo to the surface is going to be at any airport that has some sort of a scheduled operator that comes in and out of it. So if I have a scheduled operator that comes in and out of it, I'm going to have echo to the surface. Okay, now the question comes in, how does it protect me then?
The VFR guys away from you in bad weather.
So VFR, in-class echo. Do you have to talk to anybody? Nope. Do I have to have a transponder?
Nope.
Nope. How is that protected? It's not. Echo airspace is only controlled and protected when IMC conditions exist. If it's VMC conditions, that airspace is neither controlled nor protected. And that's why we have IFR airplanes that have run over small airplanes, killed everyone. We had back in the 80s, there was a SkyWest Metroliner that crashed into a Mooney over airport number 2 because it was VMC. Look out the window. So echo is called controlled and protected only in IMC. If I'm in Gulf airspace, as long as I am an instrument rated and current pilot, I have no weather minimums, as long as my aircraft is IFR equipped. So if I go down to wherever, Timbuktu, I have 0 weather minimums. I can't even see out my window. I can legally go take off and fly around. Now, we always balance legal versus stupid. Okay? And as you're doing IFR, you've got to be very careful about that. There's a lot of things that are legal, and there's a lot of things that are legal and stupid. Okay? So you got to use some common sense. Legally, we can go take off, part